Breaking news coming in. In a post on social media, President Donald Trump asked why there wouldn't be a regime change in Iran if the country's government isn't able to make Iran great again, in his words. Now, Trump's comments, remember, came after multiple top administration officials from the Pentagon said that the regime change was not the US's goal in targeting Iran's three main nuclear facilities this weekend. Not just that, but Marco Rubio as well had come out and said that now the game is in fact in Iran's hands. So the Iranian government's decisions on how they will retaliate is what will determine how the US will retaliate. In fact, Rubio said that the US is open to peace if the Iranian government is open to peace as well. But these statements that are coming from Trump, of course, make a statement as far as the regime change is concerned, and he in fact says that why shouldn't there be a regime change in Iran? My colleague Vishal joins us with more details. Vishal, take us to the latest as far as Trump again has gone over most of Pentagon officials' heads to contradict their statements and now suggesting a regime change.
Yes, and this goes on to show another fraction in the US administration. On the one hand, we have senior US officials, including Pete Hegseth, who is the defense secretary, and Dan Keynes, the joint chiefs of staff. They spoke in unison yesterday and said that the US administration is not looking for a regime change in Iran. And on the other hand, this is the US president, the most powerful man in the world, going to Truth Social, his own social media site, and saying that there should be a regime change in Iran. Why there should not be a regime change? This is what he exactly said. So this goes on to show that Trump does not really have the ears of his own advisors. He speaks his own mind. It remains to be seen what US does from now on, because US has clearly mentioned that it is not looking to escalate. It has done what it has done already, and that is the end of its operations in the Middle East for now.
Right, Vishal, stay on with us. We have some more news coming in. The United States defended its military strikes on Iranian nuclear sites during an emergency session of the UN Security Council, and the USO made a direct appeal to Iranian leadership to avoid retaliatory measures and instead return to diplomacy. My colleague Vishal still with us. Vishal, have other countries now pushed for peace at the UNSC? The US continues to stand by the attacks.
Well, at the UNSC meet that we're talking about, Russia and China, who are long-time allies of Iran, they have both pushed for a ceasefire and also condemned these fresh attacks at the hands of US and also Israeli attacks on nuke sites. As far as other countries are concerned, UK has called for de-escalation. There are many other countries that have called for de-escalation, but UNSC meet was quite key because UNSC is the top UN body. It makes all the decisions, all the important decisions. So there was no resolution passed, but it goes to show that Russia and China are standing by Iran, and at the same time, US is holding its ground. It's defending the attacks that it carried out, and also Israel too is defending the attacks on the nuke sites that it has continuously executed. At the same time, Iran has said that it reserves the right to respond in the time, in the nature, and the way it will respond, the way it will retaliate. That all depends on how Iran reacts. So they have all held their grounds, and it will be interesting to see what Iran does next, because all eyes are now on Iran, because US has, remember, at least 24 air bases and other military bases in the Middle East. It will be interesting to see how these bases are attacked, or how these bases are able to defend themselves in wake of these attacks.
Right, Vishal, thank you for joining us and bringing us those details.